From saving to investing, the journey is rarely dramatic, and that is exactly why most people misunderstand it. The real transformation never announces itself loudly. It doesn't arrive with a single decision, a viral moment, or a sudden change in income. It arrives quietly, through repetition, through habits that feel small at first, and through choices that seem almost insignificant when viewed in isolation. Most people don't feel poor. They feel trapped. They wake up, go to work, earn money, pay bills, and repeat the cycle. On the surface, everything appears functional. But beneath that surface, there is tension. Not panic, not collapse. Just a constant, low-level pressure that never fully disappears. They tell themselves the same story every year. Once I earn more, things will be fine. Once this phase passes, I'll start saving. Once life slows down, I'll invest. But years pass, income may increase, and yet the feeling remains. Because the problem was never income alone. The real problem was always control. Money flows in, money flows out, and somewhere in between it disappears. Not because people are careless, but because without intention, money behaves like water poured onto sand. It vanishes. Saving at its core is not about becoming rich. It is about stopping the bleeding. It is about creating friction between impulse and action. And investing is not about gambling or chasing returns. It is about creating distance between yourself and fear. That distance is what allows clarity. That clarity is what allows better decisions. This entire process is not about shortcuts or hype. It is about a slow, quiet transformation that changes how a person experiences life. Consider two people. Same age, same city, same income. They start their careers at roughly the same time. From the outside, their lives look identical. They live in similar apartments, take similar vacations, and earn similar salaries. The first person lives comfortably. They are not reckless. They pay their bills, enjoy their weekends, and upgrade their lifestyle whenever possible. When extra money appears, life absorbs it. A nicer phone, a better car, more expensive habits. Saving is something they intend to do later. Investing is something they will look into when they feel ready. There is always a reason to delay. Next month, next year, when things calm down. The second person is not more disciplined by nature. They are not obsessed with finance. They simply make one unremarkable decision early on. They save a small amount consistently. The amount feels almost embarrassing. It doesn't change their life. It doesn't excite them. In fact, at first it feels pointless. Nothing visibly improves. And this is exactly where most people stop. But they don't. They keep going. They decide quietly to pay themselves first. This single decision creates something most people never build: margin. Margin is the space between survival and collapse. Margin is what remains after life takes its share. The first person lives without margin. They feel free until something goes wrong. A job change, a health expense, an unexpected responsibility. Suddenly choices disappear. Stress increases. Decisions become reactive. They take jobs they dislike, accept conditions they shouldn't, avoid risks that could improve their lives because they cannot afford failure. This is how financial pressure shapes lives, quietly, day after day. The second person feels something different early on. They are not rich, but they are not desperate. And desperation is expensive. Saving does something long before it builds wealth. It changes identity. Every time you save, you prove to yourself that you can delay gratification today to protect your future tomorrow. That builds trust with yourself. And trust is powerful. You stop seeing yourself as someone who hopes things work out. You start seeing yourself as someone who prepares. This shift is subtle, but it changes everything. The question in your mind changes from, "Can I afford this?" to, "Is this worth delaying my future?" That question filters decisions. And filtered decisions compound faster than money ever will. Most people quit saving because it feels boring. There is no immediate feedback, no excitement, No visible reward. The brain rebels against this. We are wired to expect quick results, but saving works underground, like roots growing before a tree appears. Over time, something unexpected happens. Life becomes quieter. Not because problems disappear, but because urgency does. Small emergencies stop feeling like disasters. Unexpected expenses stop feeling like threats. Saving buys time to think, and time to think leads to better outcomes. Eventually, saving reaches its natural limit. Saving alone creates stability, but it does not create momentum. This is where investing enters the picture, and this is where most people make their biggest mistake. Some invest without saving and expose themselves to panic. Others save forever and let inflation quietly erode their efforts. The correct order matters. Saving first creates stability. Investing second creates growth. Investing is not about prediction. It is about participation. Cash feels safe, but it is not neutral. Inflation is silent. It slowly erodes value. Doing nothing is still a decision. This is where compounding begins its quiet work. Compounding is often explained with formulas, but formulas do not change behavior. Stories do. Imagine two investors. One starts investing small amounts early. The other waits, planning to start big later. The second investor may contribute more money overall, but the first investor gives time a head start. And time is the most powerful variable in finance. Compounding does not reward intelligence. It rewards patience. In the early years, growth feels disappointing. This is normal. Compounding grows quietly, then suddenly. Most people quit right before acceleration begins because they misunderstand where the growth came from. They think it happened at the end. It didn't. It was building the entire time. As compounding begins to work, something psychological shifts. Money stops being emotional. You stop reacting to headlines. You stop checking balances obsessively. You trust the process. Trust reduces anxiety. This is the real return on investment, not just higher numbers, but peace of mind. Compounding creates resilience. It gives you margin. Margin gives you choice. Choice is power. This is why long-term investors respond differently to crises. They understand that volatility is temporary, but systems endure. Years pass. The first person earns more, but their expenses grow just as fast. Every raise disappears. The second person earns more too, but their lifestyle does not inflate at the same speed. The gap between them widens, not because of brilliance, not because of luck, but because of behavior repeated consistently over time. Eventually, the second person realizes something profound. Money is no longer their primary source of stress. They think long-term. They plan calmly. They are not chasing. They are building. This does not make them wealthy overnight, but it makes them stable. And stability is rare. We live in a world designed to exhaust attention and amplify urgency. Saving and compounding resist that pressure. They reward patience in a system built on impatience. That alone makes them powerful. Wealth does not come from intensity. It comes from endurance. Small actions repeated consistently outperform large actions done occasionally. The most dangerous mindset is waiting for the perfect moment. The perfect moment is rarely obvious, but starting always is. If there is one idea to take from this entire journey, it is this. Saving is how you protect yourself. Investing is how you grow, and compounding is how time works for you instead of against you. Once time is on your side, everything changes. Not dramatically, not loudly, but permanently. This was never about money. It was about control. Saving gives you breathing room. Investing gives you direction. Together they give you dignity. And in a system designed to keep people reactive, being calm is revolutionary. If this way of thinking resonates with you, if it helped you see money not as a source of stress, but as a tool for control, then you belong here. Subscribe to Who Controls the Money? Because understanding money is the first step toward controlling your future.